Families of victims in fatal Boeing flights have said the company has blood on their hands. And this could be considered a PR nightmare for anyone having to navigate incident after incident like Boeing has. So I want to bring in aviation attorney Timothy Loringer. He represents some of the passengers who were on that Alaska Airlines flight when the door plug blew off. Timothy, good to have you. What impact do you think Dave Calhoun's full-throated apology will have and the public grilling he got today on Capitol Hill?
Well, certainly the apology is mixed in with a lot of other words that were used to describe what he says is a safe culture at Boeing. And unfortunately, the public and obviously the senators all think that there are some problems that need to be addressed. It's uncertain exactly what changes have been made because there's not a lot of transparency. He didn't want to talk about specific issues that they discovered during this review that they've done apparently over these years. So right now, the apology is all well and good, but what people are looking for is assurances and transparency that changes have actually been made and that the processes are safe so that the aircraft that they put out in the world are safe for the flying public.
Earlier, we heard a bit of the timeline from incidents just this year, but Boeing's issues go back further than that. What are some of the most significant ways the company is legally vulnerable at this moment?
Well, certainly they have taken responsibility for such things as the MAX 8 crashes. I mean, they are, at least in words, they're saying that now. There has been a legal process that they were a part of that resulted in some resolution for some of the families. But certainly the families, as we've seen, have felt that there has not been enough to address the culpability of Boeing and calling for some kind of a criminal, not only just an investigation, but some kind of a prosecution. So at this point, Boeing has not apparently given enough assurances that changes have been made. And certainly the accusations are that they didn't fulfill promises that were made before. So I would say that there is some vulnerability for a criminal prosecution.
We have been talking about assurances and accountability. Let's shift our focus to the families impacted. As I mentioned a bit earlier, you represent clients who were on that Alaska Airlines flight where the door plug blew off. What are they going through right now, and what is it that's going to make them whole?
Well, first and foremost, they are still living with the experience that they went through when that door came off. I have my clients who were sitting very close to the hole essentially in the aircraft that opened up when they were looking out into the open air during the flight. And what is going to make them whole is knowing that what they went through will result in better safety through Boeing and its manufacturing process. We heard today from Mr. Calhoun that this was a manufacturing defect. What that essentially means is that the aircraft, when it was delivered, was defective. The door was not installed properly with the safety measures that would keep it there on the aircraft. So what they want is to know that what they went through is not for nothing, that issues with the manufacturing process will be identified and corrected.
Did you get a chance to hear Mr. Calhoun's testimony a bit earlier today?
I did. I watched it.
What is it that you would have wanted to hear from him to make sure that Boeing is really turning this thing around?
Words are, we all have words. We can all speak about changes that are being made in whatever it is that we're discussing. So what we hear from Mr. Calhoun today is that the process, the concern about safety is there at Boeing. What we need is to see this in actual play. We need to see that changes have been made to the quality assurance program, changes have been made to the oversight of management within the organization, because proof really is in the pudding, to use that phrase. When we stop seeing these issues, when we can have transparency, we can see the changes that are being made, and we can know that when whistleblowers come forward that they're not being intimidated or threatened, then we'll know that real change has come to Boeing.
I get a sense that there is a lot that's been said, and there's a lot of attention on this testimony today, as there should have been. But I get a sense that, it's what happens afterward that really makes a difference here, not just for the company, but for people who have been impacted. We've listed what Boeing is up against in terms of just legal issues and PR. What else would it take for this company to get back in good standing with consumers so that they feel safe that they are on a Boeing plane? I mean, what would they have to do to make sure that when consumers get on these planes, they're not thinking about, oh, something's going to go wrong, a door plug may blow off? What is it that they need to publicly say and do to make sure that they're righting the wrongs?
That's a very good question. The public is already somewhat injured because they've seen these things in the news. They've seen the door plug issue. They've heard a long list of other issues that have occurred with Boeing aircraft over time since that occurred, actually. What they need to hear from Boeing is assurances. Again, it's assurances that changes have been made, but also acknowledgement of their responsibility, acknowledgement that some process that they are in charge of, something that they are supposed to oversee, wasn't proper, that there were issues that have been identified and those specific issues have been changed. Once the public hears transparency and not just someone saying words that they think will put a salve on the wounds, then they will start to feel more confident. And the longer period of time that goes by without there being an issue, that will also make people feel more confident in getting on a Boeing aircraft.
Timothy, with the last 30 seconds we have left, can you think of a good example? I like using the word analog. Can you think of a good analog for a company that has been in a similar position but was able to turn things around by their actions, not just their words? Can you think of a good example and maybe a model for what Boeing should be doing next?
Well, Boeing is certainly in a very unique position, and I don't have in the top of my head a company of its size, magnitude that employs anywhere near the number of employees that it does, or is a juggernaut the way that Boeing is in the U.S. economy and in the world. Certainly, that's a big issue for Boeing to deal with. It's a lot on their plate. Unfortunately, they allowed this to accumulate, or so it seems, and now they have a big task ahead of them. And hopefully what they'll do is set the standard for other companies in the future who are facing similar issues.
I put you on the spot there, but I do appreciate the expertise and the willingness to answer that question. Aviation attorney Timothy Loranger, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.